morning. Thank you those who take the time to, make comments and stuff because I actually read them and usually respond. And thank you for those of you that let me know, what I can change with recordings. The volume should be better. Again, you know, iPad. I'm relatively new to Apple products. I had a junker of an iPad in the Fire Academy, which I think the person who assigned him, who was close to my bully, ensured that I got the one that didn't work properly. I can't prove that, but you know, it's kind of weird that the guy with the name who begins with A would get the last one that doesn't work right. So that's neither here nor there. Anyway, I think I figured this thing out. I moved it up a little bit. I am in the process of moving, so this is kind of a MacGyver setup because a lot of stuff going on down here in my little corner keeps getting invaded. But again, so hopefully those issues should be sorted out. Let me know. And welcome those of you that are new to the channel. And if you're new, there's a lot of older videos for you to check out that probably have some useful information, that I'll say. I say things that other people don't, even when it gets me in trouble. It does that a lot. Now, a topic that's been getting popular, in more recent years, and especially being one of them, being Sigma males. Well, not all INFJ males are Sigmas, but many of us are. Yeah, I'm both, and a demisexual, and a witch. I'm all alone, because who else is going to fit all those categories? Who would want to? But Sigma males, we're rare and misunderstood, and we're known as a lone wolf, and nobody really gave a shit about us for the longest time, because, kind of loners, and we're introverted, and there's not many of us. And then lo and behold, all of a sudden, Kit Harington's portrayal of Jon Snow made us cool, and apparently dark and brooding is somewhat in. Thanks, Kit. It's good and bad because it's like, oh, people are curious about us, but sometimes it's the wrong people, and we don't want attention from them. So what I wanted to do today, because I haven't done a Sigma INFJ video in a long time, is 5 people Sigma INFJ males can never be friends with. And one of them's like one I deal with all the time. You'll be able to tell which one it is, but I'll point it out anyway. So, for those of you who don't know, Sigma males are the most misunderstood of all men. And as I said, we've suddenly become popular in the media because rare, misunderstood, Jon Snow made us cool. Also, Keanu Reeves makes us cool too. But Keanu Reeves is cool. There's like only a handful of actors that I would even want to sit down and talk to. He's one of the few. And there's one I would hit on, and you all know who she is. She's an ENFJ, surprise, surprise, as if you don't know my type by now. Okay, so if you understand Sigma INFJ's traits and mindsets, you can probably figure out where this video is going. If you don't, I have a small playlist on Sigma INFJ men that you should check out. Yeah, you should check it out anyway, in case maybe you know one. Maybe that person you're trying to talk to is one. You got to approach us in the right way, or we'll just shut down and go in our shell because we have trust issues because people have hurt us. Yeah. That being said, we're known as the lone wolves, and we're not particularly aggressive, but we enjoy spending time alone. We can be aggressive when the situation calls for it, but we're not going to walk around and beat our chest and be like, look at me, I am so great. Sigma INFJ men are known to have a small friend circle, and you can only become a friend of a Sigma INFJ male if you respect who we are, not try to change us, and not try to make us fit in. It never ends well. However, there's certain types of people with certain actions that are red flags for us that we will never, ever trust. And most of us will call them out. It depends on where the Sigma is in their life. I'll call them out, especially the one. You can probably figure it out. Yeah, we're not superhuman. Some people think we are. We're like, we just have a different mindset that isn't understood because it's rare. So, but we do aspire to have a small circle of close relationships. Sigma INFJ men aspire to have a loving and caring family, a partner that they can actually trust, and a small friend circle that they can actually trust. Quality over quantity is our thing. Yeah, it's like you have, oh, 200 friends that talk behind your back and gaslight you. And, you know, yeah, no, no, no. So, obviously, being around toxic people can affect our creativity and productivity. Yeah, because a lot of us are empaths and we absorb the emotions of around us and it just brings us down. And we're often targets because toxic people usually are getting a supply of their toxicity. So anybody that can expose them and especially call them out, they see as a threat. So that makes Sigma INFJ males the enemy of the narcissist, of the borderline, of the abusive boss, of the bully, etc., of the sexist, of the racist, of the misogynist. Yeah. Yeah. So if you're bad, we know, and we're probably usually going to be the ones who call you out unless you do a good job at slandering us first. Some do. So, first type of people that are a red flag to us, and there's five. People who always need something, that false friend that it's always take, 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 take. The friend who always needs you to do something for them, always needs a favor. They're never there for you, but they always need something for you. And man, can they lay a guilt trip about woe is me and my life this and I do so much. And most of the time, these are people that don't work and expect that it's somebody's job to take care of them. There's one upstairs that I'm related to. Me and my brother don't get along. He thinks he's 12 years old. He's 33, and people baby him like he's 18 still. So, number two, my favorite. Guess? Huh? Huh? What is it? Yeah, people that gaslight others, which in other words, narcissists and borderlines, especially for me lately, because, I a lot of gaslighting when I lost that, when I unjustly lost that dream job in the Arlington County Fire Department because my bully was gaslighting the shit out of me. And things have been pretty bad since. Although over the summer, I actually met a girl who was my type, but her supervisor decided that she wasn't allowed to date me, so I got gaslit again. Always fun. So, Sigma INFJ males can never be friends with people who have gaslighting tendencies, which is a big sign of being a narcissist, too, by the way. Gaslighting is a form of manipulation that people use in abusive relationships. If you're not familiar with gaslighting, go to my narcissistic tactics playlist, and there's a video on gaslighting that everybody who thinks that they're dealing with a narcissist should watch because it's one of their go-tos. They're real big on it, and a lot of them are good at it. So basically, these people, gaslighting, the person will try to control your reality and twist it to control you to make you do what they want to do. Like they think, if you're becoming friends with somebody that the person gaslighting doesn't like, slander. If you're getting involved romantically with somebody that they don't want you with, slander, destroy. And usually in that situation is because they want you to be with their person because the person that they're trying to put you with, there's something meant for them or there's some kind of alliance going on. But it can be a whole bunch of things. Could be somebody is gaslighting you because you're a threat to the promotion that they want at work, or you're a threat to exposing, that they're a do-nothing manager. I had one of them too, a male borderline. But gaslighters have a way of convincing their victims that they are mentally unfit and too sensitive. So, in other words, that's how you're not capable of making your decision. I'm looking out for you. And once one of us, Sigma INFJ, spots the gaslighter, we immediately avoid them, as far as like letting them know anything about us. And depending on who they're gaslighting, we call them out. Yeah, eventually we'll do it anyway. But, depending on who they're taking advantage of, might get us to act quicker. Oh, I don't know. I don't know every Sigma INFJ male yet. I've only met 8 of the other 12. See, 13 coming. See, I did that on purpose. Yeah. So if you're gaslighting people, we're not going to trust you ever, ever. And you shouldn't be trusted. Okay. Another one, number 3, people who never reach out to us. And I had friends like this growing up. Oh, man, this and they never reach out. Well, I didn't know any of this stuff back then, but everybody knew, and I knew that I was an introvert back then. It's like, an introvert isolating themselves. Who would have thought? So, yes, Sigma INFJ men need time alone. That's how we recharge. However, we do enjoy interacting with the right people, but we're also bad at making the first move. So when it comes to social situations, very rarely are we going to be the ones who initiate it. I mean, we struggle to do that even with, even with the girl we're trying to ask out. That's hard enough, let alone like, let's get a group of friends together. What friends? But uh people, the extroverts in our life need to reach out to us. We're the most extroverted of the introverts, but we cannot be the most extroverted like of our friend group. We prefer to be the most introverted one of our friend group. So people that would rely on us to reach out and stay in touch, yeah, that's not going to work because we're introverted by nature. And we don't like to feel like a bother. So it's like, oh, I'll reach out to someone. They'll call me if they want to talk. Like, I don't want to bother them. They probably got all this shit going on. That's us. So, it's not like we'll shut you down if you get a hold of us, but you got to be the one to initiate it. A lot of my extroverted friends do constantly, especially with a death in the family. That's all I do is make text messages. I'm a bad texter. Well, unless, you're somebody I'm trying to date. Then I'll make an exception, but those are few and far between. Number 4, people who always talk about themselves. The selfish type, I mean, the ones that no matter what the conversation, like if this is somebody you feel you can trust or, you can confide in, they're the ones that'll always turn the conversation back on them. Borderlines are very big on this. My mother certainly was, and other borderlines I've met. No matter like if you're the person confiding and the person always talks about themselves, no matter what you're going through, how dark, how tragic, they'll turn the conversation to some minor inconvenience on them. Like you could have lost your job, your apartment, your relationship, like everything. And you wouldn't get any empathy from them, but then they would expect all the empathy in the world from you when they're like, "Oh, I had to spend $120 and replace my 6-year-old car battery. Woe is me." Stuff like that. Whereas something like actually, life impacting in your life, they'll give you no empathy, but then they'll turn it on back to themselves about some minor inconvenience that, you know, isn't really affecting their life. Having to get a new car battery is not a big deal. Everybody has to do it. And they get fixed. They get replaced quick and they're not that expensive. And 5, people who always talk down to us, which baby boomers, baby boomers, baby boomers, baby boomers do this all the time. Like it's no matter what your experience, no matter what you've done, that it's never good enough, move the goalpost, or you could never be as good as me. We did everything so much better, bigger, better, better. And I'm not saying it's every baby boomer, but it's certainly a lot of them where I grew up where they would twist any narrative to talk down to you. Like, because in their minds, and again, I'm speaking about not all boomers, but the majority of baby boomers in Chester County, to them, anybody born after 1964 is a second-class citizen and not an adult. Adults are only them. They everything begins and ends with them. And, they'll talk down to and belittle anybody's accomplishments, pain, suffering that isn't a part of their generational demographic. And they'll also form double standards to excuse poor behaviors from their demographic, specifically like, wife beating, DUIs, drug use. Apparently it's all okay for them because they're these demigod-like creatures that descended from Mount Olympus. They're the real Prometheus or the real light bringers, and it all ends with them. But those, the type I'm talking about, they talk down, they make you think like you don't try to make you think like you don't know what you're talking about, or whatever you're going through was no big deal. And then they're usually the same type that'll turn it back on themselves, and they'll try to twist the narrative to say that something minor was something major and how they're, so fortuitous to make it through. Yeah, so they annoy me too, but the gaslighters are the worst, and I do tend to encounter them quite a bit. Just remember, toxic friendships, these 5 examples are toxic people. Toxic friendships never lead to a good result. It will always affect your well-being negatively. They will drain the shit out of you, especially Sigma INFJ men, because, we struggle to be social in a lot of situations to begin with, but being drained because it's like, oh, need to recharge, been extroverted too long is one thing. Being drained because someone toxic is draining it, it takes harder to recover, it affects your trust issues more. Yeah. So I hope that helped for those of you that are also Sigma INFJ men, or those that are curious about Sigma INFJ men, or, perhaps wondering, there's this guy, I think he's a Sigma INFJ, and I think he likes me, and he'll talk to me. But when I'm with, these three friends of mine who are toxic, he keeps his distance. I wonder why. Well, hopefully, this enlightens all of you to know the 5 types of people that Sigma INFJs want nothing to do with, and rightfully so. So remember, if somebody is exhibiting any of these 5 signs, trust your intuition that they're toxic and stay away, because you're going to get hurt one way or the other. And don't sell out your integrity, trying to please someone who's already toxic. I've said it before, I'll say it again. They're never pleased. They're never pleased. They're never pleased. And they're going to keep moving the goalpost. Please like and subscribe, help the channel grow. It helps the algorithm. The algorithm doesn't like me. If you enjoyed the video or the channel in general, you can express your thanks by sending me a super thanks. Or if you want to suggest a title or suggest a topic for another video, send a super thanks and tell me what you want me to ramble on about. Okay. Watch the older videos.